You're on.
Hey everybody, happy Friday, Memorial Day weekend. Nice 3-day long weekend. Hope everybody has a lot to do. I know it's Friday night on Memorial Day weekend, so there's probably not a lot of people in the house tonight watching my cooking show, but that's okay. Mike's here with me. I got a friend of mine, Danny, coming over. We're going to eat. Tonight we are making, it's a Mediterranean stuffed pork tenderloin. So we have a pork tenderloin here. Got it at Market Basket. It's only $7.02. That will feed about 4 people for $7. Everything else is here. We're going to make the stuffing first. Then we're going to make a glaze. And as I told you earlier in the week when I gave out the menu, that you can make any type of potato you want or vegetable. I am going to do a cheesy garlic mashed potato, and I have my Mexican street corn in the oven. That's the Mexican street corn with the mayonnaise and the seasonings on it. I'm telling you, if you haven't had it yet, that's great. I made it the other night on the grill. It's just as good on the grill. Tonight I'm going to show you how to butterfly a pork tenderloin. If I was going to make this on my own, I would take they call it a steel. It's to sharpen knives. I would take this and I would hone out a hole in the middle of it, and then what I would do is I would take a pastry bag and stuff this. But tonight I'm going to butterfly it. I have my baker's string twine here. I'm going to tie it up. And then I'm going to make a balsamic glaze for it. The balsamic glaze is going to have balsamic vinegar, garlic, Dijon mustard, and I won't forget the Dijon. I have some cilantro, fresh rosemary, and these are scallions I'm going to use for the potatoes. The stuffing itself this is baby spinach. I'm going to wilt that down in some garlic and oil. I'm going to add a little bit of hot pepper. You can leave that out if you don't like hot pepper. Then I have some sun-dried tomatoes and oil. I'm going to take these out, I'm going to dice them, and I'm going to add it to the stuffing with a little feta cheese and cream cheese. It's almost like a spinach dip. Have you ever had a spinach dip? Let's get this going. So I hope everybody had a good week. I don't know about you, but it's like Groundhog Day for me. This COVID epidemic we're going through. Crazy. We've had, unfortunately, we had to put to rest a friend of ours from Topsfield yesterday, a good friend of mine I started working with years ago, Buddy Holden. He passed away, and today we said goodbye to Richie Mendez, one of my reserve officers who worked for the town for over 36 years. He passed away, and you know, who would think that you can't really go to a funeral or a wake like you used to and pay your respects? We had to do basically a rolling wake. We had police departments from all of Essex County who came, the state police, we had the sheriff's department, and what we did was we lined up. The family was outside the funeral home. We gave a hand salute as we went by, and then we escorted Richie to the cemetery. Not the way we usually do our services for our brother and sister officers, but with the times we had to improvise. So tonight, as I said, we're going to start with the stuffing. It's about a tablespoon of garlic. Remember, as I told you, we don't let the garlic burn. We throw it in a hot pan with some butter. A trusty wooden spatula. And we're going to wilt the spinach. So I'm going to take, probably a good 3 handfuls of spinach. I got good sized hands, so we're gonna. And this looks like a lot, but you know it's gonna cook right down. It'll almost be hardly anything. So we're gonna get this thing wilting. I believe my potatoes are. Yep, potatoes are done. We'll shut those off for now, and after we get our stuffing and our pork in the oven, I'll start on the glaze, and then I'll do the mashed potatoes. So we have the butter, garlic, and oil in the pan, and we're getting the spinach nice and hot. And as you can see, it was here a minute ago, now it's cooking down. I'm going to take a little bit of crushed red pepper. That's about a tablespoon, maybe a big teaspoon. And just keep stirring it down. Make sure you have a good mixing bowl ready, because what I'm going to do now is, as that's cooking, I'll take my mixing bowl and I'll start getting my sun-dried tomatoes ready. Take a paper towel, if they're in oil. We're going to take 6 or 8 nice sun-dried tomatoes. And someone told me the other day that I say nice too much. I'm sorry, but what are you going to do?
Well, maybe you'll say they're great.
They're great. They're wonderful. So we have some nice, wonderful, great sun-dried tomatoes. And I'm going to chop these up and I'm going to add them to the spinach. I'm going to give a good quick dice. I want to leave a good size because these are going to have good, chew to them. So we want to give them we don't want to make them too small that you can't taste them or you can't. So I'm going to get that in the pan. Spinach, you know something? I'm going to add a couple more. I really like these. So I'll add a couple more. Maybe 4 more. As you can see, spinach is really cooking down to almost nothing now. I could have probably even used another handful, but that's good. I'm going to shut that down. I'm going to add that to my mixing bowl. So we have our garlic, butter, oil, spinach, and sun-dried tomatoes. Just clean my area real quick. Oh, found another one. Didn't cut the ones like oh. So let's cut these real quick. And these are going to cook pretty much baked in the stuffing inside the pork when I put it in the oven. So we're in good shape with that right now. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Now I'm going to add 1 package of cream cheese.
8 ounce.
8 ounce package of cream cheese. And then I'm going to add a little bit of feta. Probably about 2 or 3 ounces of a really nice Greek feta. This is going to have a nice salty, and the cream cheese are going to have a nice sweet mix. So, there we go. And that's why we call it Mediterranean. So, in our bowl, garlic, butter, spinach, oil, cream cheese, feta cheese, and sun-dried tomatoes. And mix it good. And what's happening is the heat from the spinach is melting the cream cheese and the feta cheese. So the spinach and cream cheese stuffing is ready to go. Now I'm going to get my pork tenderloin ready. This is about a pound and 3/4, pound and 3/4 piece. See the fat cap? I'm going to take that off because that's going to be tough. So all I'm going to do is take my knife, get up under the pork, and then just like when you do a fillet of fish, you get right under the fat and you run the knife. A lot of times what I do is I have a dog, Tucker, I'll take this stuff and I'll fry it down and I'll chop it up and add it into his food. But tonight I'm just gonna get rid of it. He already ate. I fed him before we started because if I didn't, he'd be by my feet. And I banned him to my bedroom with the wife. And again, another meal that she's a very plain eater, so she went to Subway and got herself a tuna fish sub, and we're eating Mediterranean stuffed pork. So, as you can see, I got all the fat, mostly all the fat off it. It's a nice, this is a tenderloin. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the fat side, and I'm going to take my knife, run it through, and I'm going to butterfly it, similar to what we've done with the chicken. So that's all butterflied. See that? Very easy. I take my stuffing mix. So we have the stuffing in it. You know what I'm going to do with this one? We have a lot of stuffing here, and where it's butterflied, instead of tying it up, I don't know how yours looks. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it. And I'm going to bake it just like that today. Like I said, if this was a little bit bigger tenderloin, I'd be able to close it up, tie it up, but that's going to be just as good. You know anybody watching us tonight?
Good eating right at the moment.
What's that?
Eat.
Excellent. Hopefully everybody has some nice plans for the weekend. All right, so our pork is ready. Now I'm going to make the glaze for the pork in a pan. The water off. In a pan, I'm going to add a little bit of butter. It's about 3 tablespoons of butter. We're going to melt the butter down. Add some salt and pepper to my pork. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this in the oven. I'm going to get the glaze going, and I'll wait till the pork is probably 3/4 of the way done before I add the glaze. So we have a lot of pepper, we have a lot of salt. I'm going to throw this in the oven. Start getting that cooking. My butter's melting. I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. Let's add a little bit more so I have the other one going. So we have our balsamic vinegar, about 1/4 cup in our butter. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic to that. Oh, about a teaspoon of garlic. I'm going to add some fresh rosemary that I chopped up. I'm going to save a little because I'm going to put a little of that. This is some cilantro, nice fresh herbs. I'm going to throw a little scallions in there too. Again, I didn't put this on the menu items, but I improvise a lot when I cook. So now we're going to take a good tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Add it to the glaze. Wow, I should smell this. What a smell. Between the balsamic and the mustard, and all the fresh seasonings, all the fresh herbs, a little bit more cilantro. So my glaze is almost ready. going to add just a touch more butter into the glaze. Make it nice and silky. This is done. This is done. Garlic's done. Okay. So our glaze is pretty much ready. I'm going to let the butter melt off to the side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these cheesy potatoes going. I'm going to take my mashed potatoes that are all nice and cooked. Strain them out good. Okay. My trusty potato masher. As they're mashing, I'm going to add some butter. I'm going to add a whole bunch of scallions. Some salt. Some pepper. Got a little bit of heavy cream here. Put some heavy cream. And then I'm going to take a fancy cheese blend. Add that to the potatoes. These are going to be delicious.
Half cup or so?
Huh?
Half cup or so?
Yeah, about a half a cup. Now, I'm just going to continue to mash. Now they're all nice and mashed. Take my spoon. Those look delicious. A little bit more cheese just on the top. Add a little cilantro. So we have our cheesy mashed potato, scallion, cilantro, cheese. These are all ready to go. Let me taste a little. Wow, that's good. So, the pork's going to take about 35-40 minutes in the oven. I have my glaze about 3/4 of the way. I'm going to take the glaze and I'm going to put it over the pork. I'm going to cover these up with aluminum foil right now. So, while I'm cleaning up, I'm going to say goodbye for a few minutes, and we'll see you back in about a half hour. Thanks a lot.